So I want you to just start tapping and tune into, we just listened to some channelings and there was some things that you resonated with.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know what it is that you want to work on? When your body and your mouth said, yes, there's something I want to work on. Are you consciously aware of it?
I know I've got some body stuff going on.
Right.
And my sense is I would like to relate on my inability to commit to a way of life that allows me to follow my inner calling, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on in your body? You said something's going on in your body.
I've got a headache going on,
Mm-hmm.
stiffness up my neck. When I was lying on the floor before, I can feel that my sacrum is really quite painful, but fiery painful at the moment. It feels like, it's almost like one end of my spine to the other is pretty much giving me grief at the minute, giving me pain at the minute.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so even though I've got this pain in my spine,
even though I've got this pain at either end of my spine,
okay, from the sacrum, at the sacrum and at my neck,
at the sacrum and at my neck,
and I want to be able to step into my true purpose,
and I want to be able to step into my true purpose,
my true soul spiritual purpose,
my true soul spiritual purpose,
and there's resistance there.
And there's resistance there.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And this resistance that I feel at both ends of my spine.
And this resistance that I feel at both ends of my spine.
And I ask the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
And I ask the multi-dimensional layers of my DNA.
My guides and higher self.
My guides and higher self.
To show me where this comes from so I can release it.
To show me where this comes from so I can release it.
As a being with free will,
as a being with free will,
I choose to step through this.
I choose to step through this.
This burning feeling at my sacrum.
This burning feeling at my sacrum.
This pain in my neck.
This pain in my neck.
This pain in my spine.
This pain in my spine.
Both ends of my spine.
Both ends of my spine.
This burning in my sacrum.
This burning in my sacrum.
This resistance to stepping into my true soul purpose.
This resistance to stepping into my true soul purpose and power.
And power. My body is protecting me in some way.
My body is protecting me in some way.
And I can feel it in my neck and my sacrum.
And I can feel it in my neck and my sacrum.
And I ask the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
And I ask the multidimensional layers in my DNA
to process and release this all the way back to its origin.
To process and release this all the way back to its origin.
Wherever it began.
Wherever it began.
The first lifetime I felt it.
The first lifetime I felt it.
And every lifetime that I've repeated this pattern.
And every lifetime that I've repeated this pattern.
Including this one.
Including this one.
I choose to process it and release it.
I choose to process it and release it.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
The first time I felt it.
The first time I felt it.
Just tuning back in, what happened while we did that? Did anything pop in?
It feels like it's on the move, but it just feels like it's really in the muscles, in everything, in my bones. Yeah.
In your neck mainly?
It goes up the left side of my neck, around to the left side of my face, and it feels like it goes at the base of my skull, like in that, around the base of my skull there. Yeah.
And if you imagined where that comes from, what picture, asking guides and higher self, where does that come from? Across the base of my skull, at the back of my neck.
I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is being hit up the back of the skull.
Yep. The cells of the back of my neck.
The back of my neck. The cells of the back of my neck.
Can remember this blow to the back of my head.
Can remember this blow to the back of my head.
I thank the multidimensional layers of my DNA
I thank the multidimensional layers of my DNA
for holding on to this memory to protect me in some way.
for holding on to this memory to protect me in some way.
But that protection no longer serves me.
But that protection no longer serves me.
I created a belief that it wasn't safe to be in my power
I created a belief that it wasn't safe to be in my power
in that lifetime
in that lifetime
when I received that blow to the back of my neck.
when I received that blow to the back of my neck.
And I choose to process and release it now.
And I choose to process it and release it now.
That belief and that memory no longer serves me.
That belief and that memory no longer serves me.
And I no longer need that protection in the new energy.
And I no longer need that protection in the new energy.
The feeling of the blow to the back of my neck.
The feeling of the blow to the back of my neck.
The pain in my neck and shoulders.
The pain in my neck and shoulders.
In my muscles.
In my muscles.
In my spine.
In my spine.
Whatever I experienced in that lifetime.
Whatever I experienced in that lifetime.
I choose to process it and release it.
I choose to process it and release it.
All the way back to when it occurred.
All the way back to when it occurred.
What's coming up?
I just heard the words, who do you think you are that you can control God?
Mm-hmm. Who do you think you are that you think you can control God?
Yeah. Who do you think you are that you can control God? That you can give God orders and tell God what to do?
Mm-hmm. And do you get a picture of the lifetime or...
No,
I can hear those words
I can hear those words
as I feel the blow to the back of my head.
as I feel the blow to the back of my head.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? And then dropping into some sort of shame and guilt for thinking that I had any right to
Be connected with God.
be connected, or even to think I understood what God wanted me to do.
Mm-hmm. All that shame.
All that shame.
All that guilt.
All that guilt.
Dropping into the shame and guilt
Dropping into the shame and guilt
as I feel the blow to the back of the head.
as I feel the blow to the back of my head.
When I hear those words.
When I hear those words.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? Who do I think I am?
Who do I think I am is what your question was, isn't it?
Who do I think I am?
And I can hear those words. Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
Thinking that you can control God.
Thinking that you can dialogue with God.
Mm-hmm.
That God would bother talking to you.
And through you.
And through you.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
The shame and the guilt.
The shame and the guilt.
I can feel it in my neck.
I can feel it in my neck.
That blow to my neck.
That blow to my neck.
Taking me to my knees.
Taking me to my knees.
The guilt and the shame.
The guilt and the shame. Reminding me of my place.
Reminding me of my place under the eye. Reminding me of how small I am.
Of how small and insignificant I am.
And how small and insignificant I must remain.
And how small and insignificant I must remain.
Under the nose. That blow to the back of my neck.
That blow to the back of my neck.
That said, who do you think you are?
That said, who do you think you are?
That you can be in dialogue with God.
That you could be in dialogue with God.
Processing and releasing that feeling.
Processing and releasing the feeling.
The guilt and the shame.
The guilt and the shame.
The belittlement.
The belittlement.
Being sent to my knees.
Being sent to my knees.
As if I was insignificant.
As if I was insignificant.
As if I couldn't be in dialogue with God or Source.
As if I had no right to be in dialogue with God or Source.
Putting me back in my place.
Putting me back in my place.
I had no right to be in dialogue with Source.
I had no right to be in dialogue with Source.
And I've kept that belief.
And I've kept that belief.
Part of me has been protecting me.
Part of me has been protecting me.
My neck has remembered that blow to the back of my head.
My neck has remembered that blow to the back of my head.
That went all the way down to my sacrum.
That went all the way down to my sacrum.
That
it pushed the fire all the way down. Back into the sacrum.
All the way down, back into the sacrum. It's the fire like the Kundalini energy.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I was picking up. Pushing that fire all the way back down into the sacrum.
Pushing the fire all the way back down into the sacrum.
I let my body know it's safe for that fire and Kundalini energy to come out again.
I know.
I let my body know.
I let my body know that it's safe to let that Kundalini fire and energy rise again.
All the way up.
All the way up.
And that I do have a right to be in dialogue with the God energy.
And
that I do have
the right
to be in dialogue with the God energy.
To be in dialogue with Source energy.
Source energy. That's part of me.
That's part of me.
I am Source energy.
I am Source energy.
Releasing the shame and the guilt.
Releasing the shame and the guilt.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
Me now stepping back in time.
Me now stepping back in time.
To that me that's been brought to my knees.
To that me that's been brought to my knees.
And tapping on.
I can see a male on his knees in the dirt. Like I don't know, maybe like a forest, and he's just a normal workman farmer. In the mud, and someone in a uniform standing behind him.
Standing over him.
Standing over him, and he's the man just about has his face in the mud.
So I want you to freeze that man in the uniform and step in front of that man with his face almost in the mud and lift his head and stand him up and let him know that you're his soul from the future. And with all the knowledge that you have now, close your eyes and just tell him what it is you want to let him know. And tap on him to release all the fear and shame and guilt. How's he feeling now?
There's a feeling of relief that it was worth it, and the relief that he feels validated in what he initially felt as part of his innate nature.
So help him to release that fire energy again from the sacrum. Allow him to state out loud that he gives his body permission for it to once again rise and to know that it's safe for that God fire energy, that Kundalini energy to rise. That it's safe and appropriate for him to be in dialogue with Source. Going on with the head.
Oh, I've got a pain here, but I can see this
spiraling.
Like a spiraling energy. but it's like two. There are two. It's like two.
Yeah, that go around.
Go round together like that somehow.
Mm-hmm. Allowing him to release all fear, all past beliefs, guilt and shame. Allowing him to stand in his power. Releasing all the body memories that stopped him from feeling his true power and his true connection to Source. Allowing him to fully connect with that Kundalini energy through his whole body. How does that feel now? How's he feeling?
His body looks a lot softer.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the impression that he's lived his life
Mm-hmm.
in connection with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know how the other one knew.
Mm.
It's the play. Something about the play.
Mm-hmm. So rise above where he is, where that man in uniform had been standing. Rise way above that.
Yeah.
Higher and higher, as high as you can go to where the master guides are. Way up there. And ask for the higher learning. What was the higher learning? The soul agreement they had. What was it he needed to step through and learn in that life that has relevance for your current incarnation?
The only thing that comes to me is that he needed to know what it felt like to feel separate from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was such a natural, innate ability.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until that happened, or something like that happened, that he felt what it was like to be without that connection.
Mm-hmm. And so then when he reconnected with it, it felt right.
Yeah, it's almost like he felt, he knew what he had.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what, because he'd been without it,
Mm-hmm.
he understood it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In order to fully understand something, you need to be without it. You need the contrast of what it's like without it.
And the other one, like as I hear myself say that, he could see what someone who isn't connected to it would do.
Mm-hmm.
The things that they do when they're not connected,
Mm-hmm.
and have a relationship with that. They do all manner of things that that if
they were connected,
they were connected, they wouldn't even think about doing anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And so he got to disown the shame and the guilt, because that was just something that was inflicted by someone who wasn't connected.
And he got to feel
What it was like
what
to be.
the other man, what drove the other man, the shame and guilt that drove the other man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with that higher learning from that life, how does it apply to your current incarnation and your soul's lesson now?
It just provides more experiences.
Mm-hmm.
More variety in the
So perhaps there's also more compassion for those who are not connected.
It's compassion without any. It's like a. I think I've always seen compassion as something has an element of softness and vulnerability. But that type of compassion doesn't have that. It's just...
It's an understanding.
Yeah, it's an understanding, but there's no excuse, there's no justification.
There's no judgment.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, no judgment. It's just
And when there's
all they know.
When there's no judgment, there's no sense of I'm better because I know. That it's not like that. It's like I know because I've been there. So yeah.
So as you bring that higher learning back into your body now, and that whole experience, is there any resistance now in your neck or your spine or your sacrum for you to step into that spiritual power that you know you have within?
The word rage comes to mind, like it's rage that's locked in. Around. It's like, yes, there's a higher learning, but I still feel the rage of this reality, the rage that goes with feeling and it to be an impotent human.
Okay, so back to the karate chop point. Even though I have this rage still trapped in the cells of my body.
Even though I have this rage still trapped in the cells of my body.
In the back of my neck.
In the back of my neck.
I choose to process it and release it.
I choose to process it and release it.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
And every lifetime that I've experienced it, including this.
And every lifetime, all the way back to its origin, including this one.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And the rage.
And the rage.
That's been trapped in the back of my neck.
That's been trapped in my body.
In my body for many lifetimes.
For many lifetimes.
And as a free will soul.
And as a free will soul.
Who's the master of my body.
Is the master of my body.
I choose to process it and release it.
I choose to process it and release it.
Instructing the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
Instructing the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
That hold the memory of it.
That hold the memory of it.
To process and release the rage.
To process and release the rage.
Deleting it from the cell's memories.
Deleting it from the cell's memories.
It no longer serves me.
It no longer serves me.
And I choose to let it go now.
And I choose to let it go now.
Releasing and letting go of all the rage.
Releasing and letting go of all the rage.
Around stepping into my power.
Around stepping into my power.
Releasing it from the cells that remember it.
Releasing it from the cells that remember it.
From many lifetimes.
From many lifetimes.
I choose to process it and let it go.
I choose to process it and let it go.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
Releasing the rage.
Releasing the rage.
Releasing the rage from my head and neck.
Releasing the rage from my head and neck.
I choose to feel the connection to Source instead.
I choose to feel the connection to Source instead and allow that to flow.
Allowing that to flow like the Kundalini energy.
Like the Kundalini energy.
Allowing the connection to Source.
Allowing the connection to Source.
Allowing Source's connection to dissolve the rage.
Allowing Source's connection to dissolve the rage.
Releasing and letting go of any remaining rage
Releasing and letting go of any remaining rage.
out of my body.
Out of my body.
I choose to feel peace and connection to Source.
I choose to feel peace and connection to Source.
And feel empowered as I step into my life purpose.
And feel empowered as I step into my life purpose.
My soul's purpose.
My soul's purpose.
So is there any rage left, or is there more connection to Source?
I feel a sense of inhabiting my body. I'm still aware of something sitting there.
It's more outside rather than in.
No, it's still in.
Okay. Even though I have more of a sense that I'm in my body.
Even though I have more of a sense that I'm in my body.
More of a sense that it's safe to be in my body.
More of a sense that it's safe to be in my body.
I still have some remaining energy around my left ear, face and jaw.
I still have some remaining energy around my left ear, face and jaw.
And I choose to process and release it.
And I choose to process and release it.
Thanking my body for already processing it.
Thanking my body for already processing it.
Processing the rage.
Processing the rage.
And whatever else is remaining in my left ear, face and jaw.
And whatever else is remaining in my left ear, face and jaw.
I choose to process that too.
I choose to process that too.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to it.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to it.
And as master of my own being,
And as master of my own being,
I instruct the multidimensional layers of my DNA
I instruct the multidimensional layers of my DNA
to process and release the remaining rage and emotions
to process the remaining rage and emotions
in my left ear, face and jaw.
in my left ear, face and jaw.
Releasing it and letting it go.
Releasing it and letting it go.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origins.
I have no purpose for this in my body anymore.
I have no purpose for this in my body anymore.
It no longer serves me and I choose to release it.
It no longer serves me and I choose to release it.
How's that feeling now? Is there a colour that will help you?
It feels like it's red. Like it's really quite red. And
What colour does the body need to release it?
purple. It feels like it's got to get to blue, but it's like it's got to go through.
Which purple?
I think it's the middle one, but it's something to do with that one as well.
Metatron blends time, and this is forgiveness. So bring in this purple and this lilac purple. Breathing it in, sending it all the way back. Just tapping on the collarbone. Sending it all the way back to the source of this red energy and emotion. And sending the purple, that forgiveness, all the way back to all the times that it's required in that life and every life, including this one. Sending that purple energy through time, Metatron energy, colour, and the lilac energy and colour of forgiveness. All the way back to where it's required.
It's really interesting. I can feel something happening here. And it's easing it.
Allowing my body to heal itself as it already knows how.
Allowing my body to heal itself as it already knows how.
Releasing what's in the way of me being in my power.
Releasing what's already in the way of me Releasing what's in the way of me already being in my power.
Releasing the resistance and the fears.
Releasing the resistance and the fears.
Releasing the rage and anger.
Releasing the rage and the anger.
Feeling connection to source.
Feeling connection to source.
That purple. Energy and
Energy
vibration.
and vibration.
The lilac. Energy of forgiveness.
The lilac energy of forgiveness.
Feeling it in my solar plexus.
Feeling it in my solar plexus. Feeling my body releasing
And
and relaxing.
it's safe for me to be in my spiritual power and purpose
It's safe for me to be in my spiritual power and purpose.
in this life and every life.
In this life and every life.
I am special enough to commune with spirit.
I am special enough to commune with spirit.
It's natural.
It's natural.
It's who I am.
It's who I am.
And it's safe to be in dialogue with spirit.
And it's safe to be in dialogue with spirit.
And I honour the process.
And I honour the process.
How's that feeling now?
Much more peaceful.
So say out loud, I choose to stand in my spiritual power and purpose. And notice if there's any resistance.
I choose to stand in my spiritual power and purpose. And the words I heard were, and hell can freeze over. I don't know what that was about, but okay. This is my right,
Mm.
and it's my destiny.
Do you hear the conviction in saying that? It was a statement, it wasn't a question, or there was no energy pulling back from it. It was all, this is my power, this is my purpose, this is my destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yay, thank you. Yeah, you can really go out there and make a difference.
Mm.
Well